Ronald Vogelaar, at 55, embarked on a journey that defied the conventional arc of life's trajectory. In an era often bereft of true conviction, Vogelaar's decision to join the Ukrainian conflict represented a remarkable divergence from the expected course of a peaceful retirement. His actions were a vivid illustration of the power of individual agency in the face of geopolitical upheaval. Vogelaar did not seek the comforts of a sedentary life, but chose instead the rigors and dangers of combat, driven by a deep-seated belief in the universal principles of liberty and justice. Vogelaar's stride into the Ukrainian strife echoes the hallowed tradition of the international brigades in the Spanish Civil War, where volunteers, fueled by a moral imperative, crossed seas and mountains to fight fascism. Like those hallowed volunteers, Vogelaar didn't just cross geographical borders, he transcended the confines of national self-interest. His story is reminiscent of the era when individuals, driven by a profound sense of justice and the defense of universal ideals, entered foreign lands not as conquerors, but as liberators, not as mercenaries, but as crusaders for democracy. Vogelaar, in this light, emerges not just as a soldier in a foreign conflict, but as a custodian of a legacy that venerates the sanctity of freedom over the sovereignty of tyrants. His transition from the Netherlands to the war-torn landscapes of Ukraine was a bold statement in an age often characterized by apathy and disengagement. Vogelaar's choice to fight alongside the Ukrainian forces was not motivated by nationalistic fervor, but by a broader, more profound allegiance to the ideals of freedom and resistance against oppression. In this sense, he epitomized the true essence of internationalism, the belief that the struggle for democratic values transcends borders and unites disparate peoples in a common cause. Vogelaar's life, culminating in his ultimate sacrifice on the battlefield, serves as a poignant reminder of the enduring relevance of individual courage and conviction. His story challenges us to reflect on our own commitments to the principles we hold dear and the extent to which we are willing to defend them. In an age where cynicism often clouds our vision, the life and death of Ronald Vogelaar stand as a beacon of inspiration, urging us to rekindle our faith in the power of individual action to effect meaningful change. In Ronald Vogelaar's saga, we find not just the narrative of a singular Dutchman, but a broader testament to the historical and cultural tapestry of the Netherlands, a nation that has, through centuries, been a crucible of courage, a bastion of resistance against overwhelming odds. The Dutch, who once defied mighty empires on seas and in trade, have long championed the underdog, an ethos embodied in Vogelaar's journey to Ukraine. His story, steeped in the spirit of Dutch defiance, mirrors the legacy of those historical figures who stood against tyranny, be it Spanish monarchs or Nazi occupation. Vogelaar, in his final act, etched his name alongside those revered Dutch heroes, embodying their unyielding spirit in a modern context. His commitment to Ukraine was not merely a fight against a contemporary aggressor, but a continuation of a centuries-old Dutch narrative of upholding freedom against all forms of domination. In this way, Vogelaar's story transcends the immediacy of current affairs, rooting itself firmly in the rich soil of Dutch history and its enduring quest for justice and liberty. In the ultimate act of his life, Ronald Vogelaar not only personified the age-old tradition of fighting for a cause greater than oneself, but also became a symbol of what one might call a truly holy crusade. This crusade, unlike those marred by historical misuse of the term, was anchored firmly in the ideals of the Enlightenment. It was a battle not for the expansion of empires or religious dogma, but for the defense of the very principles that form the bedrock of our modern world: liberty, equality, and the unyielding resistance to tyranny. Vogelaar and his comrades in the International Legions of Ukraine thus embodied a sacred struggle, one that was holy not in religious terms, but in its unwavering commitment to uphold the Enlightenment values that define our shared humanity. In his and their undying spirit and sacrifice, we echo the refrain, Geroyam Slava, glory to the heroes.